I will scoop up with my hands palm up. There it is, like that. And I can lean in hand and get the arm on. So I'm barring his elbow against my waki area, my armpit area. Here's a Waki Gatame. It's a real practical way of doing Waki Gatame. In fact, it's one of my favorites. A lot of times you've got somebody who's turtled up, or they'll be turtled up and they'll grab you, okay, and they want to get, his idea is to, you see his head's on the outside of my hip. Well, he knows how to fight because he's going to get around to the side, get in position. So I don't want him to get there. So I know if he's grabbed me here, and he's got his head on the outside of my hip, I might have to get to work here pretty quick. And here's a good way to do it. So once we've got this, what I'm going to do, he's grabbed me, okay? So I'm going to grab I'm going to cup his elbow with my hand just like this, just to kind of post it here, just to stop it for a second. The other hand is my elbow, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to jam right under his armpit here, right in this hole. I'm going to jam like this, okay? Now as soon as I start jamming here, I pop up, see my base here, post there, and I sit through. Now, see how I'm starting to get this by sitting through, see how I made his arm shoot out, okay? At this point, of course I'm letting go here, but I would keep hold and I would grab the wrist and I would lean into him. Now, I'm leaning into him, not like far back like this, but as I lean in, I'm pulling. And I'm pulling, his elbow is right in my armpit. And it hurts the shoulder, but it really hurts the elbow too. And I've got this elbow right in here, and I just lift up. I don't have to do it hard. If you do it hard, you will hurt him badly. Don't do that. And it's just a sit-through. So we just call it the sit-through Waki Gatame from the front. And I'll show you again real quickly here. He's grabbed me, trap, start to set. It's really probably a good idea. As soon as you grab here, that's a good time to post. That's probably a good time to post that foot out there, the base out there. Then shoot this here. As soon as I shoot this here, this sits through. And see, that'll collapse it. And see, that shot that arm out straight. See? Now from here, I quickly grab, palms up at the wrist. I want to get low to the wrist. Don't grab up here. Try not to bend his elbow. Just grab here. See that? You get a lot of power by palm up. That's very important. Palm up there. Now, don't lean back. Just lean into him and pull up. And there it is. He really can't tap out very well with his hand, obviously. He will tap out with his foot. Or say, maita, or mate, stop. That's enough. One thing leads to another. Like A goes to B, B goes to C, C goes to D, etc. All right, so he's grabbed me, boom. Now, A is, the first thing I want to do is, as soon as he grabs, as soon as I feel this threat here, that's the first thing, number one, bam, grab there, number one, okay? As soon as number one happens, number two happens. See how I post? Okay, I've got a good stability here on this, okay? So that's number two. Number three, chop in, okay? Now number three, I like here first because I can also put my hand down if I want to, because then I'm going to do number four, which is a sit through. I'm just going to sit through, and as I sit through, I lean into him, and the last thing in the list of things here, number five, I will scoop up with my hands palm up. There it is, like that. And I can lean into him and get the arm on. So I'm barring his elbow against my waki area, my armpit area. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So here it is again. He grabs, number one, trap. Okay, number two, post. Number three, elbow in. Number four, sit through. Number five, lean in, palms up, lean in, get your Waki Gatame. Okay? Don't lean back. You don't want to look at the ceiling. You're letting off the hook. All right? Yes. Always keep your eyes forward like this when you're doing it. That way, I've got good, but I've got this here controlled. Okay? All right? So if you take them logically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those steps, think of it that way if that helps you. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with thinking of it that way, because it does, one thing leads to another. Okay, can you just, where is Big J here? So come here. Okay, so you do on the same side I did? Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this again, just slightly different. As soon as he grabs, he traps, he chops in. See the post? Sit through, see that's shot through there? And you lean in, there it is, okay? He still may be on his knees and extended, or he may flatten out, extended. It doesn't matter as long as you extend that arm. If he still stays round like that, he's still getting tapped. Okay, you don't have to put him flat on his belly. Some people, you think you have to, you really don't. Okay, so get it one more time. Watch again. He grabs the leg. So let me stop. He knows, Derrick knows, if Jake does this, he's got a plan on it. I can't emphasize that enough. Because Jake is probably going to do a go behind because he knows his ground game. Okay, he wants to get behind him. Okay, so come on back. So Derrick has to go to work. So as soon as he feels his leg is threatened, he traps, he sits through. There you go. And there's your Waki Gatame. It's a real practical way of doing it, and it's a real effective way of doing it. You really should be ambidextrous. We're just showing you doing it on one side. You really should be able to do it on both sides. Get good at one. If you're new at this, get good at doing it on one side, but switch to the other side as well. It's a very practical way of doing Waki Gatame, and it works against a good athlete, whether it's judo, jiu-jitsu, sambo, whatever it is, because if you're the bottom guy, you want to get out. And a good way of getting out is to get a hold of him, suck his leg in, and get your head on the hip and start to move around. That's a good way to do it, to try to control him. So that's why it works on good athletes and not just beginners. You can do it on beginners too. Okay? Got anything to add, or we good?
It's not a wait and see kind of move. When he's got that leg, you need to be doing it because he's going to be going around back and choking you in like a second. So as soon as you feel that head on the outside, you better be clamping and rolling your elbow in. Yeah.
So what? As soon as Derrick, this is why we say feel your judo. He feels that. He feels that threat. Then he goes.
So the sit-out part isn't as important as the cupping the elbow, getting your elbow in there. But if you've got those first two things, you might as well do it immediately. But you can't really wait for it. If I let him shoot in and he's got it and I'm just kind of sitting here and then I'm like, oh yeah, I can do, Waki, he's probably already taken me back and then I've got to fend him off. So it's a move that you need to drill so that it's a reaction.
Look, when you're doing this, I think Coach Hinchcliffe brought a good point up here. When we're doing this series of movements here, when we're sitting through, and go ahead and do it. What Derrick does not want to do is lean back. If Derrick leans back, he's allowing Jake's shoulder to come off the mat. Like what Coach Hinchcliffe was saying, Derrick wants to pin Jake's near shoulder to the mat. You want to flatten his torso as much. If you can, it's better to get this way. But even if he's bent on his knees, you're still going to get his shoulder where it's on the mat. Okay, so coming through again. So let's take a look at how he sits through. And watch, kind of turn around, kind of come around, stir around. There you go, okay, can you see this? Everybody see this? All right, now watch when he sits through, that he is not going to let any space. See this bed, this shoulder, you can't see it, it's pinned, okay? And now he's got him, now he can just work it right there, okay?
So part of it is that you're pinning it to the mat, and that's the best way to actually lock his joint down. So if his shoulder is free, and I'm trying to bar his arm, even if I'm pushing right down on the elbow, he can fight with his own bicep strength, or even if I get that straightened and turned, he can now wiggle around up the shoulder to get out of it, okay? But if you pin that shoulder down, and then you bar it, it's pretty hard for him to wiggle around because the shoulder is locked in. You don't always get the benefit of being able to do this with your knee, so you do it with your Waki, your side. And as I slide through, I'm going to go out at a 45-degree angle and then lean back at that same angle into his shoulder. So our shoulder blades are basically touching, and I'm actively pushing him down into the mat on his shoulder. And then it's a pretty easy tap right there. The less pressure I put in, if I put my elbow down, the more you've got to fight to get that going, because now he has all that shoulder mobility left.
And that's why he doesn't want to roll back. Do it the wrong way, roll back and look at the ceiling. Some people will do it, new guys will do this, they'll roll back and look at the ceiling, think they'll get better angle, well they're not, You can do that, but if he lets you, but if he's skilled, he won't let you. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, one more time just to show that. Just watch, he pins the shoulder to the mat as he does all the steps, sits through, and there you go, palm right, and there's the Waki Gatame, the armpit lock, all right?